Okay, it's 7 o'clock and the board is reconvening to open session. Roll call, please.
Trustee Wells,
Here.
Trustee Lee,
Here.
Trustee King is absent. Vice President Marquez. Here. President Weekly.
Present. All right, in closed session regarding the topic of dismissal, discipline, and release of a certificated employee, the board approved by unanimous vote that the district move forward with the dismissal process for a certificated employee. In compliance with the Brown Act, Government Code Section 54957.1A2, the Board of Trustees reports that during closed session, the board took action to initiate legal proceedings related to a due process matter under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA. The board, by a vote of 4 ayes, 0 noes, and 0 abstentions, has directed legal counsel to proceed with filing a due process complaint with the Office of Administrating Hearings against the parents or guardians of a student within the district. Due to confidentiality laws governing student records and special education matters, no further details regarding this action may be disclosed at this time. Bienvenidos a todos. Welcome everyone to the public session for the June 24th, 2026 meeting of the Redwood City School Board. Our interpreter will now give instructions for how to access translation.
Buenas tardes. Si necesita interpretación español esta noche, por favor llame al número gratuito 978-990-5137 y presione el código de acceso 837-7041. Si está presente, puede obtener unos audífonos y un receptor en la parte posterior de la sala. Gracias.
Muchas gracias. Just so all participants are aware, the direction of the board, this meeting is being recorded and will be shared with the public. We generally try to post our meeting videos on YouTube about a day or two after. It's a pretty meaningful night tonight, and this is the last meeting of the school year, and as such, Dr. Baker's final meeting as superintendent of this district. We'll be honoring his service and legacy later in the agenda. We'll also be honoring the efforts of folks who worked on Measure C. I'm also excited that we will be hearing an overall state of the district as the last major presentation by Dr. Baker. We'll then have our LCAP plan, our budget, and a number of resolutions. The board encourages all members of the public to participate and provide comment on issues of concern, regardless of whether or not they're on the agenda. If you're here in person, please fill out a speaker card. You don't have to give your legal name, but if you'd like for us to follow up with you, please consider adding contact information. If you're online with Zoom, you can just raise your hand and we will call on you based on your Zoom name. If you're speaking on a topic on the agenda, you'll be called at the time that the item is being considered. If it's not on the agenda, we will call on you in the public comment portion near the beginning of our meeting. To be fair to all speakers, comment is limited to 3 minutes unless otherwise noted. You'll see a countdown clock at the front of the podium. As a reminder, anytime public comment is on an item not on the agenda, the board will be unable to take action or comment on the matter. Do we have any changes to the agenda? Nope. All right. Can I ask for somebody move to approve the agenda?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right. Public comment. We will now hear public comment on items not on the agenda. Okay. All right. That one is for an item that is on the agenda. Do we have any other comments for items not on the agenda? Any folks online? Nope. Okay. Not seeing any. Union comment. We'll now hear from our labor representatives if they would like to share. Same 3-minute time limit will apply. Brenna or Maria? No. Okie doke. All right, now we come to a special moment in tonight's meeting where we would like to recognize the extraordinary years of service of our retiring superintendent, Dr. Baker. I would like to invite those to speak who want to make comment. And we do have one such card here from Mr. Dennis McBride. To the podium, please. Make sure you press the button on the right to light up the red light. Tough crowd, I know.
Like a person.
It looks like a person.
Press the person.
Thank you.
There you
Wow. That doesn't count towards me. Oh, it
No,
does count.
you're good. You're good.
Today we're here to celebrate you, John, for more than 40 years of making a difference in our community, in the lives of our children. If your career was a movie, the title would be From Kindergarten Teacher at Garfield to Superintendent of the District. John, you have always believed that our children are the treasure of the community, and you treated them in that way every single day. John, I have known you since about 1992, when I called you regarding an issue at Roosevelt. I'm sure you remember it. It was a very emotional situation for the parents, and I found you to be open, honest, thoughtful, and kind. That moment stayed with me because it reflected so much of who you are: calm, respectful, compassionate, and able to bring humanity into difficult situations. When I first ran for the school board, someone said to me, if you think everyone will love you, do not run. You can only hope that half the people will like your decision and the other half won't follow you home. Being a superintendent is even harder than being a school board member. For one thing, school board members are part-time. The superintendent is full-time. And by the time parents call school board members, it's usually after they feel the superintendent has not solved their problem. While we may receive the calls, John, you have already carried the heaviest part of the load. The relationship between a school board and a superintendent is a subtle and sometimes difficult dance. Board members are elected to represent the community, but the board are not professional educators. This clock is getting me off. The superintendent brings the educational expertise, but is not elected by the community. There is a constant movement between who leads, who listens, and who advises. John, you understand that balance masterfully. You respected the board's role while also providing the wisdom, judgment, honesty, and experience we needed. One of the fondest memories was when the former superintendent left and the board knew you were the right person to become the superintendent, but we felt we needed to go out into the community and get input, and we needed to go kind of look nationwide. And after a couple months of hearing from teachers and staff that we were missing the obvious choice, the board agreed to suspend the search and offer you the job. At the back to school event for the teachers in the theater, I had the honor of announcing that we had a new superintendent. I will never forget the reaction. Do you remember that? The certificated staff rose as one, like they had practiced at graduation, and they were clapping and cheering, and people were reaching in their pocket, wiping tears away. You were there, Wendy, right? It was just a very special moment, and it was clear we had made the correct choice. John, when you and I later visited all 16 schools, the reaction was the same. Certificated staff and certificated and staff were thrilled. People believed in you and still do. Being a superintendent is a grueling and often thankless job. John, you consistently did the difficult work with grace, dignity, and courage. We seem to always be dealing with budget cuts, crises, reorganizations, or painful decisions. Sound familiar? Oh, no.
Thank you, Dennis.
That's cold. I'll give you a coffee, John.
Thank you so much. Right. Next to the stand, David Buvito, please.
There's three of us, maybe we could take a little longer. Well, they can do cards. So President Weekly, members of the board, Superintendent Baker, my name is David Baruto. I'm representing Assemblymember Diane Pappen. With me is my field representative, Alice Hill, who you're going to see more often, and Gabriela Morales, who works for State Senator Josh Becker. So obviously we're coming here to help recognize your superintendent and celebrate the closing of this book after, can't believe, 40 plus years. That's quite an achievement. You know, I'm the son of an educator, and I was thinking about that because my dad did a career about the same span, but it was about 6 different locations in 5 states. And the fact that you've been in this district for that long and given to this community really the better part of your life. That's really, truly extraordinary. You know, that's a really great gift to all of us. You know, running a school district and school houses, there's so much that goes into that. It's the mechanics of the operations, but also, you know, schoolhouses, having done a little teaching myself, everything comes in. So whatever's happening in the world comes into the front door and you have to deal with it all. So that's not like a CEO that can wall themselves off. And you've done that with such grace. And I've watched over the past few years, especially because I would see you on our chamber SMC Workforce and Education Committee meetings. And it was really great to have your thoughts and your wisdom about what was happening in the education world. For those of us who work in the legislature, we need to know what's happening on the ground, you know, and how the things that our bosses are doing are affecting you. And it was great really to have that wisdom. So really appreciate that personally. So after 40 years, we just wanted to make sure we came here to say thank you. Congratulations. I hope the retirement is something spectacular. I don't know what your plans are, but maybe you'll let us know a little bit. So now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Gabriela.
Thank you, David. Hello, Dr. Baker. What an exciting and I'm sure bittersweet night for you. It's so good to see you. And so tonight I am here on behalf of Senator Josh Becker. We're here to present you with a resolution on behalf of Senator Josh Becker, as well as Assemblymember Berman and Assemblymember Pappen. And so as many words are on here, there's not enough words to just express our gratitude for everything you've given to this community, to the county. We're so thankful for all your work, and we know your legacy will be continued on through others, but I'm sure we'll continue to see you around too. You're deeply involved in our community, and so there are not enough words, but thank you, thank you, thank you. And it is our honor to present you with this resolution.
We get up there?
We'll just be photobombing them in the back. Thank you so much. Yes, and we have a online comment from Alyssa McAvoy.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, great. Hi, good evening, everyone. Elisa McAvoy here. I'm so sorry I cannot be with you tonight, but I am traveling and I wanted to take a moment to recognize and thank Dr. Baker for more than 40 years of service to the Redwood City School District community. I had the privilege and honor of working alongside Dr. Baker during my 17 years on the school board. Throughout that time, I witnessed firsthand his unwavering commitment to students, families, teachers, staff, and the broader community. Dr. Baker, your contributions to RCSD have been extraordinary. From your years as a teacher, principal, human resources leader, and curriculum and instruction leader to your service as superintendent, you have dedicated your career to helping children succeed. Your leadership has touched the lives of tens of thousands of students who have gone on to become doctors, teachers, nurses, engineers, social workers, pilots, construction workers, business owners, artists, musicians, attorneys, elected officials, and so much more. Their success is a testament to the impact that educators like you have when they devote their lives to serving others. One of the things I've admired most about you is that you lead with people at the center. You took the time to know your staff, students, families, and community members personally. You remembered names, asked about families, celebrated accomplishments, and generally care about the people you serve. As a leader, you never lost sight of what mattered most, doing what was best for students. Even when faced with difficult decisions and the ongoing challenges of leading an under-resourced district, you approached every situation with thoughtfulness, creativity, innovation, and integrity. Because of your leadership, countless students received opportunities and support that helped them reach their full potential. Tonight marks the end of an important chapter and the beginning of a new one. While your retirement is well earned, your legacy will continue to be felt throughout RCSD for many years to come. On behalf of the many students, families, staff members, board members, and community members whose lives you have touched, thank you. Thank you for your leadership, your dedication, your compassion, and your service. I wish you a joyful and fulfilling retirement, and I wish the new superintendent and the district continued success as they work to build upon the strong foundation you have created. Thank you, Dr. Baker. Thank you, John, from the bottom of my heart. That's it.
Thank you
Thanks
so
to
much.
all of you. All right. Good night.
I believe we have another comment. Wendy, you're up. All right.
Well, it's so hard to follow those wonderful speeches, but I just wanted to say good evening, everybody. I've had the joy and pleasure of working side by side with Dr. Baker for 14 years here at the district office, and then prior in my career as in his role of human resources. So it's really a pleasure tonight to be up here congratulating his retirement. So they say that leadership is a choice, but I believe for Superintendent Dr. Baker, leadership's always been a calling. Today, as we celebrate your retirement, we look back on an absolutely staggering milestone, 46 years of dedicated service to education with a profound legacy left right here in the Redwood City School District. 46 years. To put that in perspective, John has nearly spent half of a century waking up every single day with one primary focus, the well-being, growth, and future of our students. You were always first to arrive at work and always the last to leave. If you ask anyone who defines your tenure, they wouldn't just point to a policy or a budget. They will tell you that John's a leader who leads with the heart. In a world that often prioritizes data over people, John always remembers that at the center of every spreadsheet is a child, a teacher, a worried parent. It hasn't always been smooth sailing. John has weathered some of the toughest challenges and most turbulent times our district has ever seen. Yet, through every storm, he was our anchor. Why? Because he mastered the art of communication. He didn't hide behind closed doors. He spoke directly and honestly with our employees and our families. He listened just as much as he spoke, ensuring that in moments of deep disagreement, everyone felt heard, valued, and respected. He hosted the superintendent advisory committees, attended school events, parent meetings, and managed financial conversations with grace and balance. John, the impact you've made is woven into every fabric of Redwood City, certainly in 46 years. It is seen in the classrooms you upgraded, the educators you mentored, and the generations of students who walked through our doors and into bright futures because you always championed for them. You always had a sense of humor. This is in cabinet, I might add. And a feeling of family with employees. It was so wonderful watching you at our district breakfast, and people would just naturally walk up to you without fear, without judgment, just knowing that you would welcome them and say, I hope you have a fantastic year every single time. You celebrated our good times, mourned our bad times, and always listened to our stories. You had tough conversations with employees, many of which I witnessed. And at times, from time to time, these things had to happen. Oh, no. Okay.
Sorry, Wendy.
I will go.
Thank you. Rick? Very well. Still got 3 minutes though, but.
I promise I will not take 3 minutes. It's short. It's a saint. John, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to work with you over these past 4 years. Unlike everyone else here, our relationship's only been since 2022. But through that time, I've appreciated your trust and the support that you've placed in me and the entire team. Leading the district is not an easy job, and there are plenty of decisions that don't come with easy answers. Through it all, you've kept the focus on what's best for students and the long-term success of this district. It's been a pleasure working alongside you, and I wish you all the best. Congratulations, John, and thank you again.
All right, our fellow trustees now have a chance to comment. Mike?
Yeah, first I'm going to take advantage of former trustee McBride and former trustee McAvoy for being here, for making such a smart decision a decade ago. I really appreciate it, and I think the district's been better off for it. And then Dr. Baker, I just wanted to thank you. It's been a remarkable career. I mean, a lot of people have talked about it, but from the classroom to the superintendent office, just the amount of impact you've had at Redwood City has been tremendous. On me personally, I've learned so much in the last 6 years from you about what it means to be a trustee, what good governance and good education looks like, really what just being a good person is. And I really appreciate that opportunity for me to keep growing and through that experience. You've had an unwavering focus on equity that I think is admirable, and I think this district has been better off for it. And I think it's going to continue to thrive because of that, what you'd put in there. And you've always been able to make time to listen to staff and to to the community. I don't know how you find the time to be able to do it, but you do it. And look, I know communication is never enough for everybody, but Your transparency has been really unwavering, and I think it's just been outstanding. I also want to say, this transition has been along for a year. It's been great. It's given us as a board a chance to be able to go out and do a search for a new superintendent. It's given a chance. You've offered up your time to be able to help with the transition for the new superintendent. You always said, well, it's the right thing to do. And that's one of the lessons that we're all learning as people from you. You'd always do the right thing. And I appreciate that. But I think, again, this transition, which is never easy to go from one superintendent to another, has been dramatically smoothed out by your focus on, even after being here, ensuring that the district, the students, the staff, the community continues to thrive. So thank you so much.
We're just gonna having everyone else go first really brings up a lot of themes. So I'll try not to be redundant, but I think it's also a statement on all the impact that you've had and all the things that you've done, the value that you've brought, and how much work you've put in. But I'll just start by saying, Dr. Baker, you will be missed. You'll absolutely be missed. And I say that also acknowledging that I'm excited about Dr. Rualcaba and the energy and experience he brings, but that still doesn't change the fact that you will be missed. What I have observed is that, like others here, is that being superintendent of a school district, and specifically one like ours, is a very difficult job. And outside of school board members and cabinet, I think most people underestimate the amount of work that really goes into it because they get glimpses here and there, right, of newsletters, school board meetings, but that is obviously just the tip of the iceberg, right? They don't see all the other things, the time that gets spent developing and improving instructional practice at every single school site on a regular basis, being very hands-on. They don't see the community partnership development that goes on several nights during the week, the personal time spent getting the word out on things like parcel tax, the daily coordinating with myriad stakeholders on whatever unexpected fire needs to be put out for the day, or all the other work that's attendant to overseeing hundreds of employees and thousands of children's education. And that's just what I can see, right? I don't get the full picture either. There's so much work that goes into it. But to me, the most important aspect of being a superintendent is really maintaining a vision and demonstrating consistent values that put the interests of the entire community first. And on that front, you've been superlative. Obviously, there are times when you have to make tough decisions with which someone inevitably disagrees, because that's part of the job. But not once have I ever had to question your intentions or your heart, which has always put our students, our community, and a sense of equity and justice above all else. And I know that for you, this hasn't just been a job. This has been a calling, and it's been a labor of love. And as Mike mentioned, I think as a mark of true leadership, you've already put in so much time with Dr. Rualcaba, really specifically to make sure that the district is set up for continued success even beyond your tenure. And for that, I think everyone in the community is truly appreciative of that. So thank you for everything that you've given to this district already. And again, I'm sure you'll be missed, but as with everyone else who retires from a district, I hope you'll eventually still find time and ways to stay part of the community going forward. So thank you.
Well, John to me, Dr. Baker, of course, when it comes down to formal board meetings. I'm going to read what I wrote. Words can't describe how proud and privileged I feel to have met you about 25 years ago. From the very first time we met, your welcoming and friendly demeanor, that's all it took for me to feel comfortable. I swear, whether you were rolling up your sleeve to move tables, I personally saw it. Serving food or just greeting everybody with a smile, you always showed us what true leadership looks like. You embody leadership in its truest form, leading with the heart, humility, integrity, and passion. And as Dennis, who is wonderful, his words. And by the way, when Mike also mentioned about equity and the lens that you provide to this district and the just your involvement with everyone in the community. One of the biggest things that I'm like so proud that for the last now, what, 2 years, you've extended the superintendent advisory committee not only to be in English. Well, before we used to do the translation within the same meeting evening, and now we're on the Bayside reaching out those parents that are probably, they have a hard time expressing themselves. And now with you, everybody feels comfortable. And I hope that momentum continues to just continues after you are no longer here. You definitely will be missed. And I just want to wish you the absolute best on a very well-deserved retirement. And again, you've always been engaged with the partnerships with just the different organizations. And I hope that as a community member, you will continue to, at one point, give us your personal opinions and see how this district can be better. I mean, obviously, you have an excellent cabinet team. And so I just look forward to just don't be a stranger. Thank you.
Dr. Baker, thank you. On behalf of all of the children of the district whose education you have helped support, the teachers and administrators you've guided and overseen, for the rounds you did coming regularly to each school site and observing to ensure educational practices are done to fidelity, for taking the time to listen to all of the diverse members of the community. I appreciate the time that you spend with trustees, building real relationships, sharing findings and understanding. It was only after talking with trustees of other districts at the annual education conference about their relationships with their superintendents that I began to fully appreciate how above and beyond that you've gone to connect with your trustees in weekly one-on-one meetings, respond to our text messages and our emails, and to drive to resolution our concerns. I've seen you navigate through challenging times, solicit feedback, and iterate. You've done a challenging job very well, and I thank you for it. I hope you and Patrick have an absolutely wonderful time in your retirement. I wish you both the very best. And now for some closing remarks by our incoming superintendent, Dr. Christian Rubalcaba.
Thank you, President Weekly. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Dr. Baker, distinguished guests. As incoming superintendent of this wonderful school district, I would like to take a moment to recognize you, Dr. Baker, for over 40 years of service to this one beautiful school district. You have really shown up for students, and it has really inspired me from the moment that I began my transition into the district. You have opened your arms, your heart, and your mind with the express purpose of ensuring the success of our students and community. You have shown up for students, for staff. There's a saying that says, the tree doesn't fall too far from, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And every school site that I visited, and I visited them all by now, the warmth and the wonderful things that staff say about you, even the students as young as first kinder, trying to figure out that transition, right? It speaks volumes about yourself as a human, as a leader, as an educator. And it has been an absolute honor to have landed here and locked forces with you to really ensure that this transition is smooth, efficient, and through your wisdom, I've gained a lot. I've learned a lot about this district. So, Dr. Baker, thank you for welcoming me and for sharing, your wisdom so openly, for setting this district up for continued success. I know I speak for many when I say that your impact will be felt for years to come. And I assure you that my success and our success as a district will include you always. On behalf of the board, our staff, our students, our families, and our community, again, thank you for your remarkable service. It is an honor to not just consider you a colleague, a mentor, but I'm even more fortunate to consider you a friend. So thank you for all your support. Congratulations on this incredible journey, and I have a long list of countries for you to visit. So I know that we have to unplug and, let the guy enjoy his time off. But I can't promise I won't be texting you every now and then. And it won't always be about countries that I think you should visit. We already talked to him about Japan, so you can expect some pictures on Japan down the road. But again, I'm super thrilled to be, following you. Big shoes to fill, and I will make sure to make you proud. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now for a presentation of the plaque. Okay. Nobody gave me any words or coaching for this. Okay. All right. And so with that, I'll have you open it. Stuff like that. Nice. Oh, cool.
So tonight is it's bittersweet after working all my adult life within the Redwood City School District and starting out as a kindergarten teacher and then ending up as a superintendent, which I never thought that would happen in the same district where I started from. Started in, I should say. But it did, and there was some really great times, and there were some times that were really difficult. Throughout the time, the 40 plus years in the district, there have been a lot of changes. I mean, when I started at Garfield, it was not the Garfield that we have at this point in time. It was more diverse. If you were to look back at those pictures of where a picture came from that Jorge got from somewhere, my class was definitely, I was the bilingual teacher, but I had Caucasian students in it. So it was like 40% Caucasian and the other 50% were Hispanic. So it has totally changed to what we're seeing today. But the students were always at the forefront, no matter if they spoke English, they spoke Spanish, they needed support. Some of you probably remember Leslie, who had her child here in the Redwood City School District for many years, and was also a big member of SEPTAR. And her child came back to the Redwood City School District and came to our school district, and she was in one of my fourth grade classes. And the relationship that I built with her mom and dad, who are engineers from Bolivia, and her being a gifted and talented student and making sure that she got what she needed to progress was quite instrumental in creating a GATE program that was created at one time here in the district, which she was able to attend, and I got to be part of that committee that moved it forward. And to see where we are from that fourth grade period to where we are right now, and you talk about the equity lens, it's amazing to see that has taken place. There was no equity then. We were, those of us that were teachers of color or teachers that spoke another language were not looked upon very favorably. And it was always kind of a fight for us to get what we wanted for our students compared to what students across El Camino were getting. The times have changed, and I'm glad they have changed, because the manner in which we treat our students now, we treat everyone with respect, everyone with dignity, and we're looking through everything we do through that equity lens. And the board prior, Dennis is out in the audience, Elisa, who spoke, were very much instrumental in making sure that we were going to do something like that. And when we decided to put together that vision and the policy, making sure that equity was going to be a key factor for this district, the board never had any questions, but just move it forward. Just move it forward. We know it's not going to be easy, but you need to continue the work that you're doing. And we had staff members. Tina's in the audience, and I remember many of our times at one of her schools where she was a teacher for many, many years. They were hard conversations, but we've gotten past that, which is a real plus for this district. The superintendency is a very unique position. I go home and I'll complain about something, and then I always get these questions. Well, you just can do this, and I go, no, it doesn't work that way. And you've known that for 18 years. You know that we've been. It doesn't work that way. So it's not an easy job. You have to keep students at the forefront, and you have to have a staff that is going to walk the walk and talk the talk with you. If you don't have it, it's not going to work. And if you don't have a board that doesn't do it, it won't work either. I've been very fortunate to have staff members by staff members. It's those teachers that are in the classroom teaching our students. It's those principals that are at the school site making sure that everything's moving along accordingly as we want it to with that equity lens. And then it takes a district office with a cabinet staff and all of us that work in this office to work well together and to move this work along. I know, and when we look at test scores and on, I try and look at them all the time. We were just looking at them today. COVID hit, and then we just took a nosedive. We are going back. We're getting there. We're getting there. It's not as fast as I wanted it to achieve that where we were, but I know with the work that is in play right now, it is going to get there. And I know I spoke about this in regard to a New York Times article several weeks ago, where you could place your district into this website, and it showed where you were before COVID, and many school districts have come down like this, but everybody is starting to inch upward. And I have a lot of faith in our community, our teachers, our principals, our parents, our district office staff, our board members, that it's going to go in that direction again. No one's letting up on the gas pedal on it. I mean, I think at nauseum, we talk to the principals about it every time we're at a meeting. And one who used to be a principal just recently can probably attest to that. And when we're talking data and talking about instruction and moving kids forward and what we can do better with our TOSAs that we have as coaches, as our outside presenters that we bring in to help our teachers and our administrators at the school sites, it has nowhere to go but up. Nowhere to go but up. And I want to take this time to thank the teachers, all staff members, our parents in the community who really entrust us with their children and those working with their children to continue on this pathway with a new superintendent, because I know the new superintendent feels the same way I do about students are first. You look at it through the lens of equity and you move it along. And I have no doubt that it's going to move in the right direction. So with that, I just want to say thank you to everyone who supported me throughout, especially through the time of a superintendency, because it's not an easy position to have. And for the 7 superintendents that started out 10 years ago with myself in this county, there is one of those superintendents that's left. And she goes, what am I going to do? It's just me now. And I go, and it has to be, it's Shantara Moore, who's up in South City. And I said, well, Shantara, you still have that? You were young when you really started with me. So a lot of good works in the future. And I'm looking forward to seeing all that good work move forward. And thank you all, the board, for supporting me, the past board for supporting me, because if you do not have a supportive board, it is not going to work. As one of my colleagues is leaving one our neighboring districts because of those types of issues. And so we're working in another district. So thank you so much for your support and for your being upfront with me with what you see or what you hear and how we can move things in a direction that's going to make it definitely work for every child in this school district. I'm totally grateful to this board and to the past board that hired me that we made a difference and we are making a difference. We'll make it together. Thank you so much.
Look in the bylaws for encore. Yeah, that was lovely. Thank you. Well, I think at this point, we are now going to move on to approve our bond consent items. No, are we gonna?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yes, let's do that.
Or quick
Before
recess.
we do bond consent items, let's go recess for cupcakes. We'll be back in, what do you think, 5, 10? 10 minutes. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Right. Okay, so 7:51. We are returning from our cupcake recess. See, there are a few left. Maybe it could be souvenirs for people. All right. We're now going to approve our bond consent items. As a reminder for members of the public, consent items are the ones where we approve a group of items in one go that are considered unlikely to be objectionable or need discussion. Someone like to move to approve the bond consent items?
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor? All right, very well. Okie doke. We are now on to community recognition. Dr. Baker? It's all good. 13.1. It's for recognition of parent leaders and community volunteers who worked on Measure C.
Right. We had asked for some of the volunteers and some. This recognition was for some of our leaders who were leading the last measure that did not pass, Measure C. And we wanted to acknowledge all the hard work that went into, number one, moving this measure forward, doing all the work in the community, whether it was meeting with individual groups for canvassing and knocking on doors, whether it was for texting, which I thought was quite interesting and easy to do, although you did really well, and so did Jennifer. Oh my
She was
God.
amazing. I think he trounced everyone.
I asked, how did you do that? But anyway, that was fun. I thought that was fun. But the parents put so much time and energy, and you can tell within the community, we just barely missed it. That there is a lot of there are a lot of community members out there that definitely support the schools. So with that, the percentages that we ended with is definitely positive to move forward within the next couple of years. Hopefully you will decide as a board to hopefully move forward and put it back on the ballot. I mean, many people were out there, many teachers were out there, especially I had the pleasure of being out with some teachers knocking on doors. There was a riot doing that with some of these teachers because they were just like, boom, right with that community member. This is why we need it. And this is what's happening in the classroom. It was fantastic. So Jessica Shade couldn't be here this evening. She is in Michigan, from what I believe. And I believe both Carlo and Ben were not available either. But I'm hoping that Dr. Rubalcaba, in one of the first meetings in August, you can do this again and properly address each of them with the hard work they did. And then we'll also have a certificate and some flowers for them. So I want to just thank them from the bottom of my heart for everything they did. It was amazing. Every time I'd open up my personal email, there'll be an email from Jessica.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
With everything you could do. And then, or everything that, can you go out and support this? And can you sign this? And whatever. But she was on top of it. And so were Carlo and Ben. And so very appreciative for all the hard work, that all of you did. And I'm sure that, the next time it's on the ballot, it will pass. It'll probably pass. So sad, so sad. I was trying to think the last time we had it barely missed it also. So there's an impetus there to put it back on and have it pass. Because also the other piece that was really quite positive in our favor is the amount of money that was raised for this parcel tax. That was the most amount of money that the parcel tax has raised since I have been the superintendent. And I was just totally impressed and blown away by it. So we definitely want to acknowledge them. And there were some others, parents also, that were very much in the same realm with the three of them that also put in a lot of work and time. So it would be great to acknowledge them too. And Jessica has their names. And normally it's like a certificate and then some flowers, you know, and just thanking them for all their hard work and for supporting the Redwood City School District.
All right. We'll make sure to agendize that for the fall. Do other trustees want to make some remarks on this at this time, or do you want to?
I mean, I think I could save it for when they're here. I mean, they did a tremendous job
They did.
of
They really
leadership
did.
there. It was, and the community outreach was outstanding. So looking forward to being able to tell them in person.
Sure. Okay. So we're on to reports. Dr. Baker will deliver his State of the Union, or at least State of our district. We'll hear about our LCAP goals, our modernization work, and the district's accomplishments.
Perfect. So let me just get to my slides that are on here. All right. So tonight we're going to go through, I'm going to celebrate some partnerships, celebrating progress regarding partnerships, possibilities, and then also talk a little bit about our data. And like I said previously, Alan and I were talking about data earlier, and definitely want to make sure that we highlight where we are at this point in time. And we have a few new numbers for you, but not many. It's not total, not when I say not many, it's because of the CAS, and I'm talking CAS. And we are at a higher percentage than we were before of amount of CAS results that we can see at this point in time, but it's not totally 100%, correct, Anna? So if we go to the next slide, you're going to see a year of progress, and we did see these numbers, these percentages when Anna reported. So I just want to make sure that we stay on this trajectory because we are moving in a fashion where we are going in the direction of which we wanted to be. It's taken time. We are still working very diligently, not only in the arena of our professional development, but also in our support and working very closely with our principals. And then also working very closely with our parents. And Catherine is, as she explained last week about the parent engagement piece, which I have a little bit in here about that, and where we want to make sure that we get those parents engaged in how they can work with their children at home and also how they can support what's going on at school in some fashion. And when I get to that slide, I may ask Catherine a couple questions, which I know she has the answers. Next slide, Anna. All right, so as we come down to the next slide, we have here, tonight's year in review. Of course, there's the plan, from plan to progress, and we're looking at LCAP, our LCAP goals. And next school year will be the last year of that LCAP. So it'll be very, very intriguing and telling to see where it ends up, which I'm looking forward to seeing next year when she does her report. And then we're going to do a little bit on the modernization that's in motion. And as you all know, we have 3 of our sites that are going through the HVAC implementation at this point in time. Talk a little bit about that. The lighting that took place already at all our school sites, and then solar that is taking place. And then a little bit about points of pride. Several awards were given to individuals and to different schools this year, and we're very proud of the efforts and the diligence that they took to get those awards. And then let's move on to the next one. So from plan to progress. So student well-being and engagement, this is all part of the LCAP goals. And when we talk about student engagement and well-being, it's not only regarding attendance, but the belonging to children feel that they belong in school, and also about the school climate and the support systems that are put in place for these students. Dr. Rubalcaba and I met with the Gardner Center today, and we talked with them in regard to their work that they have been one of our partners with for many years now, and going to continue to work with the Redwood City School District. And the work, especially around our community schools, the work around our mental health, the work around parent engagement, and then they're also going to not only work in those arenas, but help us with our duly identified students, which we touched upon, I believe, last week when Anna was giving her update on the LCAP. And they're very excited to work with Dr. Rubalcaba, and they're going to be moving forward in that direction, working with all these items continually. So that's great. The English learner success, there has been language growth, and I mean, the next couple slides going to talk about that. But the reclassification, the newcomer supports and family engagement, that Catherine's going to move forward with family engagement with Pique, and I hope it works really, really well. I know you had some experience with it this year, and it caught your attention, and so now you're moving forward. So it'll be very interesting and exciting to see how parents embrace it and move forward, and what they learn, how to become the leaders themselves too. So looking forward to that. And the academic achievement, which we're seeing definitely the achievement increase in reading, in mathematics, and then targeted supports that are part of the LCAP. And then not only part of the LCAP, but then also part of what each school site is doing with their SIPSA. And I know that Anna and her staff are on top of that, along with Catherine, which with the EL support that needs to be maintained at each of our schools within the grade levels, whether it be explicit or whether it be throughout the day with instruction. And I'll give kudos again to Catherine for the work that she has done in observing in classrooms and meeting with principals and coming up with different plans for different sites. Next slide. So student well-being, you'll see the attendance is on the rise. It hasn't risen to where we would like it to be, but it is inching up. The chronic absenteeism, as you can see, is definitely better than it was. And then our suspension rate is still below our baseline. It is still below our baseline. But school climate, when you're talking about being connected and the safety improvement at the school sites for our children, is definitely on the rise and going in the right direction. I think, in a couple slides that are going to show in a moment, how students are feeling at school and the work that not only our mental health clinicians, our MTSS coaches, and other TOSAs that are at the school site, how they are moving forward along with classroom teachers and making sure that students are connecting with adults, that there's always a safe place to go. If they feel they cannot talk to their own teacher, there's another person on site that they feel comfortable talking to. And in most cases, it's our mental health clinicians that are at the school sites. Let's go on to the next slide, Anna. Here we go with the supports behind the progress. So, our community schools, and when we were meeting with the Gardner Center and the work that the Gardner Center had done in the past with when Michelle was the community school coordinator, now with Liz, they're continuing. The amount of supports that are provided by our community schools, and I know that Dr. Rubalcaba is waiting for that RFA to come out soon. He's thinking that one of our schools that's left could qualify probably to become a community school and get the supports. So it should be coming out relatively soon. Keep our fingers crossed, and they are going to move forward and apply for it. So that'll be great. That'll be fantastic. So as you see here, we had over 5,000 households receive food distributions at our distribution sites. That's amazing. I thought it would be lower than this because at COVID, it was around the $6,000, not $6,000, the 6,000 number. And I thought it would drop. It hasn't. And in speaking with Liz, there is still need for food out in the community. Now, we are providing lunches for our students during the summer. If they come, they will be served. And we are not turning away students that are not within our district, even if they're up to, I think it's the age of 18, if I'm not mistaken, we will serve them. So, and we're also working very closely with the library program. Thank you, Rick and Richie, for making those meals available to the public library, because there's a program at the public library for students. And so our kitchens make the lunches, and they are sent over there, correct? And then kids eat. So no one should be going hungry during this time when school is not in session. So amazing to see still that almost 6,000 number of households that need food. Students receiving backpacks and supplies, 1,126. The students in tutoring services, 388. Now, you know that the student that receive tutoring services, it's not at all our school sites. There is a cost to that. And so the cost, depending on the program that they use, it's not cheap. But at the same time, I know Anna and her group is looking to see what else can be done, because 388 is a fraction of the students that really need the tutoring in our district. And as research does indicate, one-on-one tutoring does really help. We do have, as Anna mentioned at the last meeting, that Georgette's group, the name of the group, Healthy Cities, thank you, Healthy Cities, that they are working with our EL students, and you had seen our EL students progress. And I know David had started that at Taft, but then it also went to another school site, Garfield, this year. And now that the volunteers have been trained and she brings in new volunteers, she's doing the same thing with other schools that would like to go in that direction. So tutoring is very important. I know that Liz, along with Anna Paula, has been out there looking to see what grants are available, if there are any in that realm for tutoring. I know Lupe is using CAP tutoring. She finds that it's making a dent, but they only work with X amount of students, right? Anna, isn't it 25? 25 students. And then that's very costly. It's moving the students, but it's not enough. I said, is it 25 like every semester? And she goes, no, it's twice, isn't it?
Yeah, every group is 25 students, so if renew, it's 40,000 for each group.
Yeah. The results are not bad though. And then the referral to community-based services, and that's through the community schools, it has been like 672 different referrals. That can be referrals for medical services. It can be referrals for dental services. It can be referrals for housing vouchers. It can be above and beyond what's already being given out the school site for food. If more is needed, that's also there. There have also been referrals to different types of immigration agencies that will help parents receive their status. And there's also some support for, which I didn't know about, some parents, if they decide that they want to self-deport, there is a service that will help them do that if that's what they want to do. And all this is for the community schools. You will see with our counseling services, individual counseling services, there have been 594 individual counseling, students receiving counseling, one-on-one, that's one-on-one for a period of time. And then there have been 225 students in group counseling. And then you have the check-ins, which are 3,408. And a check-in is when a mental health counselor has either met with a child once and they're just, or a couple times, and they're going back to check in to see how the child is doing. So they've done 3,408 of those. And then the crisis intervention, there have been 161 of those. And these crisis intervention are students who have been 5150. We also had a student who was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and the mental health counselor contacted Ana Paula right away. Ana Paula contacted Dr. Bott at Stanford, who works very closely with us when these crises come about, and got that child into see a psychiatrist and placed in a setting within, I think it was 6 hours, or otherwise, if it were the parent, it wouldn't have happened at all. So that was one item, one crisis that was really an emergency and really to be taken care of. There was another one where a child was wanting to commit suicide. Dr. Bott stepped in again, had the child at that emergency room within 2 hours seeing a psychiatrist, and then was placed in a setting where they needed some help at no cost to the parent. So we have these supports in place. I'm glad we have these supports in place. I know Dr. Rubalcaba will continue to work with Stanford because that was brought up today. And I know Stanford only had 5 years with us. They extended it to 6. And I think Kristen's going to try and get another couple after our conversation today. So it's been a really good partnership. They have been a real good partner with the Redwood City School District. I am not aware of the partnerships that they have with other districts because the colleagues that are with me with the group, with the collaborative, are my colleagues that do have, their parents do have resources and so forth. When you're looking at Menlo Park and you're looking at San Carlos and you're looking at Belmont River Shores, Woodside, Portola Valley, it's a different model for them and what they're doing. They do not have Stanford in their back pocket like we do, and it's something that's going to continue here. And that like I say, that meeting took place today. So I'm very, very pleased to announce it's moving forward, and Dr. Rubalcaba is definitely for it and going to take it on. Thank you. English learner, the success in English learners. I am very pleased with this. And I know we bought a program, but it's all due to the fact that, Catherine and her team and what they do at the school sites, along with Anna, making sure that, it is taught on a regular basis. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about teaching EL. It is just, and we have a program in place. Catherine goes in and she will model lessons and teach with the teacher. So it's happening. It is really great to see. Now we're waiting on those 257 pending. When do you think we'll find out? Yeah.
They're finalized. We have 98% of the scores have been recorded, so we still have 2% more. But in terms of official paperwork, in terms of parents' approval, teacher consultation, reaching out to every single parent to get their input. We contacted every single parent. 13 we could not reach, but of all the other students. So they are officially considered pre-classified as fluent English proficient, and we will celebrate them in October.
That's great. Very good. Very good. Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing compared to where we were a few years ago. This is great. This is really good. Hats off to everyone. And Catherine, for all your hard work, Anna, all your hard work in moving this forward and making sure the teachers have what they need in the classrooms to move it along. That is fantastic. The next slide. So what is driving the English learner process? So you see there are newcomer supports, and we didn't have very many newcomers. And you know the reason why. I'm not going to go down that road. We all know what's happening. But definitely integrated ELD is taking place. Teacher coaching is definitely a big piece of this. The progress monitoring, and then the family engagement piece, which I think PK will bring a big shift to that. I really do. So very hopeful and also very proud of what's being done in this school district in regard to moving the English learners along. And our parents, I mean, when you've seen them at DLAC and how articulate they are at DLAC and how they want their students to reclassify as soon as possible, they understand. They understand how important that is. For them to leave us and go to the high school and be reclassified is a whole different ballgame for them. You don't reclassify, you don't get in the classes that you should be in because it's all remedial. And that's not what we want for our children. And so parents really need to understand that. And Catherine and her team does a great job of educating them. So kudos to the EL, the multilingual department, not the EL department anymore. Next slide. And then again, this is, you'd seen this last go around, the academic achievement and its growth across, the local and the state assessments. And you can see them here, what they are. And Anna had reported on this last week. So like I say, it's moving. And I'm very pleased with that. And then again, here with the academic growth highlights, our African-American students definitely need some more support, but I believe there's 15? 30. 30 total, 30. Right. So it's not a large number, but we still need to definitely hone in on them. And then we'll come into the modernization mode. Measure T was approved in 2015. We're basically done with it, correct? With the funds for solar expansion and so forth. So we can close that out. Do you think it'll be closed out in the early fall?
In terms of available money, we're at 0 now. So the only thing left to do is the annual report for 25, 26, which will come next year after the audit.
Great. And then we have Measure S and the funds, for HVAC. You heard loud and clear what the parents wanted right away was the air conditioning. And even though we got those ugly monsters in the classroom and teachers were complaining, but do you know when I went right after school started and it was warm, the teacher said, "No, I'm not going to complain anymore. This is amazing. It's amazing. I'm sorry for what I said at the board meeting about the robots." I said, "Well, you think we're going to put things in there that are not going to work?" But no, they're very happy. They're very happy and moving this forward. And then, classroom safety, of course, and the comfort projects. The next slide. So we've gone through phase 1 with Adelante, Hoover, Roosevelt, and Taft. This is phase 2 that is happening right now, Clifford Kennedy and Orion Alternative. It's getting all the infrastructure put in place. And I'm hearing the week before school starts, it should be done. Martin's nodding. Martin's nodding. And then you've got phase 3 coming summer of 2027. And we'll move forward from there. It's great to see that happening. I'm so pleased. For those of you who have never been in the old classrooms, the cinder block classrooms, and when it's hot in those classrooms, it's miserable. It is really miserable. So glad, we have this moving along. The modernization with the lighting and across every school. And I believe this is the Hoover Gym. Isn't this the Hoover Gym? I think so. Is it Kennedy? I can't tell. I wasn't tell if it was Kennedy. Oh, the banners give it away. There you go. Yeah, it is Kennedy. You're right. But the lighting definitely is different. It's different in this office, especially, when you're here working. And the consciousness of walking in and lights come on, walk out, they go off. You don't have to worry. So it's saving some dollars there. And Rick, it's done completely, correct? Yeah. So great move. And then here's the solar expansion through Measure T. And is this school? Didn't put the name of the school in it. Is it? I'm not sure. It's Adelante. Is it Taft? I was gonna. It looks like. Yeah. So we have phase 1 completed, then phase 2 through 25, 27 are the schools that need to be done. Okay, next slide. And then for this slide, I have some notes that I really want to pay particular attention to because our students, our staff, programs in the schools, they're shining. The schools are doing really, really well. So Redwood City School District students from Orion Alternative and Kennedy Middle Schools earned top honors at the 2025 California Association of Teachers of Chinese Mandarin Speech Contest, demonstrating excellence in Mandarin language proficiency, public speaking, and cultural literacy. The statewide competition recognizes students who have achieved high levels of language development and confidence in communicating in Mandarin. Here you see two of our students that received awards. There's quite a few students that participated, and it's nice to see that ours did well. The next slide is students from Kennedy and North Star Academy earned top honors at the 2025 Science Olympiad Regional Competition, demonstrating excellence in science, engineering, teamwork, and problem solving across a variety of STEM events. Their success reflects the dedication of students, coaches, and staff in fostering curiosity, innovation, and academic achievement. Kudos to those two school sites. And then again, on the last picture that you see, are students from the Orion Alternative and Kennedy Middle Schools received in 2026 the San Mateo County API Heroes Legacy Award in recognition of their student leadership, cultural performance, and contributions to celebrating Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Months. Presented during the San Mateo County Asian Pacific Islander Dinner, the award honors students whose voice, service, and cultural pride positively impact their schools and communities. So congratulations to all these students. So it's great to see that, yes, we want our students to read at grade level. Yes, we want them to excel in math, but we have students that are accelerating in another language and other cultures. And also look at the students that are accelerating in science. Fantastic to see that happening. All right, the next slide. So here are some staff kudos that we definitely want to give out. So we have Roosevelt Elementary School TK teacher. Ms. Mendoza was recognized by the San Mateo County Special Education Plan Area, the SELPA, with the 2025 Elementary Educator Specialist Award for her exceptional work supporting young learners with disabilities through inclusive, student-centered instruction. The county-wide honor recognizes educators who demonstrate excellence in special education and a commitment to ensuring all students have access to meaningful learning opportunities. They visited several classrooms in several different school districts, and she was one of our teachers that was selected. So great to see that. Many of you know Christina. Christina is one of our exceptional librarian, I should say, at Orion Alternative Elementary School. I remember her from my Orion days over on Allerton, Tina. And she received the California School Library Association 2025 award. I love my classified library staff award, recognizing her outstanding contributions to student learning, literacy, and school libraries. Presented by the California School Library Association, the statewide award honors classified library staff whose work strengthens school communities and helps students develop a lifelong love of reading. Christina is in that library. It's got to be all day long. She's always has kids with her, whether she's reading to them, helping them with their homework, showing them a book that they believe they would really like to read, and getting them to check it out. She's just an amazing woman. Like I say, from our old Orion days on Allerton, she was the same. And that library there was tiny. The one at the Allerton building was really small. I'm like, oh, walk around like this. But she was amazing. Still is amazing, I should say. So I'm glad she got the award. And then we have Gil Guzman, who is the coordinator of expanded learning, equity, and staff development. He received the San Francisco Coalition of Essential Small Schools Ally Award for his leadership in advancing educational equity, strengthening family engagement, and expanding opportunities for students and families. The award recognizes individuals who demonstrate a deep commitment to student success, community partnership, and creating a more inclusive and equitable school system. And Gil has been very instrumental in working in the after-school program and at each of their school, at each of them that are at the school sites. And last but not least is Miss Patricia Alcocer, and she received the Principal of the Year award this year, and she was quite surprised that she got it. She goes, "It's my first time being a principal. How can I get this?" And it was submitted by one of her colleagues to take a look at this amazing new principal that was just starting at Adelante, and she was shocked that she got it. And I'm very pleased for her and happy for her. Great teacher who had started out with Adelante and moved from Granger Way. And I remember those days, the move from Granger Way, because you know why the move took place. And the wonderful staff meetings I had with bringing both staffs together and just listening to all the concerns and everything. And the parents then, but Patti to this day says, it was the best move you could have made for us, the best move. So I really congratulate her. She's a hard worker. She's a person that one can sit down and talk to her about what she just saw in the classroom and also coach her in a manner that she will move in that direction. She has a very good coach this year that we hired from the outside, Bernie Vidalis. And Bernie at one time was one of our principals at the Old Hawes campus. And the previous superintendent, we moved him over to Selby Lane, where he was a principal there for a few years. And then he left after that to become the assistant superintendent in Jefferson Elementary, and then the superintendent. And now he's retired. I think this is year number 3 because I got an email from him. We got to catch up. But I talked to him anyway because he's mentoring Patti. And Patti said he's such a great mentor. Can I have him for another year? So Christian and I have been talking about, do you think we can put that can come out of the budget somewhere, Rick? And Rick will go, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So I'm sure she goes, he's just amazing. And he was an amazing teacher to begin with. And when he was here in the Redwood City School District as principal at those two sites, did wonderful things. So I can see him, her wanting him for one more year. So I think it's probably in the cards, in the budget. So and what the company that Bernie works with, it's not really a real hard expense. It's really, you get a great mentor. I got to view all the mentors because the person who started this company is the superintendent in Las Lomitas, Eric Burgmeister. When he took off for a couple of years, he started this company and selected certain people that would be good mentors for principals, directors, and superintendents. And Bernie has been with them, like I say, for 3 years now. And he is well liked by the principals that I have put him with in this district. So amazing job for Patti, and amazing mentorship that she's been receiving. So very pleased. Next slide. So here you have recognizing the staff and programs, schools, and partnerships behind the student success. So as you see, Adelante Selby Spanish Immersion School, it received the Bay Area Parent 2025 Family Favorites. And this comes out every year, and we as superintendents really don't know about it. It's in the community where parents are given surveys, and these surveys, it's about different schools and districts. And depending on where parents communicate, that's how the schools get these awards. So you see, Kennedy was another Bay Area parent, family favorite. And you have the Orion Stars, which was another one. So in 2025, these 3 schools received parent favorites from this entity. which is great to see. It's great to see because it's parents who are giving the information, which when I saw this come across my desk, I go, what is this? And so I called and they said, that's these 3 school sites are your parent favorites within the Bay Area. And I said, the Bay Area, you mean from San Francisco to San Jose? And they go, in some fashion, yes, but we send out the survey to many different parents within the communities that will fill out the survey. And this is what we've heard from your parents, especially in the Redwood City School District. So it's great kudos to our schools. And then, of course, we have one of our schools that was recognized, for being a distinguished school in California, and that was North Star. And then let's go on to the next slide. And then many of us were at this presentation where we got the 2025 Golden Bell Award. And we have that award. It's in my office, which will soon be Christian's office, and he will decide how he wants to display it. I'm getting rid of the bookcase is going to be somewhat empty, right? Somewhat empty. You can start place them there, or an idea would be with the different awards that the district is receiving, maybe getting some type of a cabinet or something for the back wall, either this wall or something in front of the boardroom, and start putting those awards there so everybody can enjoy them. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, trophy case. There are several in my office that need to be displayed. They're still in boxes. So it would be great. Be great. All right. And you all know about that award, definitely. And then the next one, you were when we received the award for the expanded learning programs, the Kent Award. And for those of you that were not at the award, I had no idea until they announced that we were with one other school district, and I can't remember the other school district that got a perfect score. Who was the other one? San Mateo, Foster City. Yeah. San Mateo, Foster City. They were so were we. Perfect score. And we wondered why we were sitting up so close. You were right, you were at the table right next to us. I go, why are we up front? But I don't know, you probably knew. No, I don't know. But you did know. I think you knew, right? You couldn't say. So I said, why are we up front? Because normally we're, back here. And I would go, we're up front. And I said, because before, many times you had to get there, and then we'd all rush in when it was time to get your table so that we could get a table where we could sit everyone. But this year it was different, and they said, nope, that's where Redwood City is sitting. And that I saw San Mateo Foster, and Dr. Rubicaldo was right next to us with his team. And then they said 2 districts got perfect scores, which was great. So I will say that very proud of this program and how it's not only was the dollars we get from the state, and we apply for them and so forth, but the amount of work and time that goes into these after-school programs, it's amazing. And the meetings that one has to have to make sure that they're running correctly, and then parents working with parents who get really upset because they don't get into the program and understand that first it's our unduplicated population, and then if there are seats left over, we will open it up. And so a lot of parents are upset because they don't think that's fair. And even though I talked to them about it, Anna talks to them about it, Enrique, and at the time, Michelle, sometimes we don't get anywhere. But it's just, I say, okay, we have to agree to disagree. And we leave it at that. But I said, if we could put your child in there, no problem whatsoever, we would do it. But there are guidelines that come along with these dollars. And we're audited on those guidelines, so but I'm very pleased with this program, and it's fantastic. I wish when I was a principal we had it. We had an after-school program with the Boys and Girls Club, but they handled it themselves. But what we have right now, I think, is amazing. And what Liz and Enrique and her group do now, I mean, I only get involved when there's a problem. and they cannot work that problem out with either the program or the parent, that's the only time we get involved. Sometimes Anna has gotten involved if I'm not around. But otherwise it's Enrique and it's Liz. Before it was Michelle, and they tried everything to make it work and everybody come to consensus. And there is sometimes that we have worked with a program and said it is not working, and so we can't do business with you anymore. And we recently did that with one of our programs. And they had an opportunity to change, but they didn't. And the school was really adamant that they needed something different, and spoke to them. Michelle spoke to them. It didn't work. And so we go, I'm sorry, we're going to have to cut it. And we are for the next school year. It's a different program that's going to be at that school site. So kudos to this group, kudos to the program. I tell other colleagues of mine who have the ELOP programs, if you want to see a program that runs really, really well, come by and see ours. It runs real well. And next slide. Here we go with, the Sustainable Climate and Resilient Schools Challenge. And this one, as you see, recognition highlighted Kennedy Middle School's Share Care Project, North Star Academy, Seeds to Systems Sustainability Program, and the district's Measure T funded solar expansion. This one is this, I'm going to say this is Hoover. The one that's as you're coming right, is that, Jorge didn't put the name of the school on. Is that Hoover or not? That's what I was thinking, because it's right up, it's butting up against the field. No. Oh, it's Taft? Wrong. Well, we're all wrong. Well, we have solar running around all over. Thank you, Martin. And then we come to our wonderful 691 graduates of the 8th grade. I know many of us attended graduations. They were fun. They were fun. I was at Kennedy and it was not hot this time. I think it's because the sun, and there was a breeze. There was a nice breeze, and we had the weather with us, because normally at Kennedy, it is really, really hot. Now, where the parents were sitting, yes, I think the sun was beating on them, but we were back, a ways back, and but Kennedy was great. But all the graduations were fantastic. The parent volunteers at Hoover did an amazing job of putting together it was kind of a, I want to say container, but no, it was large plastic box decorated with Hoover different items, and you can go in that box, and then outside you could take your picture, and it said class of so-and-so Hoover Huskies, and the parents did all of that with the balloons and everything. I asked Lupe, when did you have time to, she goes, I didn't do this, the parents did. They volunteered their time. They said, can we come in and do it? And she goes, yeah, do it. So it was great to see. It was a really great. Jen was there with me, and she was like, whoa, look at that. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So congratulations to the 691 graduates that are now off into the Sequoia High School District. So the district is moving in the right direction. And I think with Dr. Rubalcaba taking my place, it's going to move also in the right direction. He has the same type of vision and charisma and wants to make sure he puts students first, and that's the way it's going to be. And so I'm glad that he's taking my place, and he can definitely work with our Latino population and move the needle and keep it moving in the direction that we want it to go. So thank you all so much for supporting me, not only in the past, my tenure as a superintendent, but for those that just joined within the last couple of years, thank you. There's a little thank you gift for each of you. by your chairs. Make sure you don't throw out the paper that's in there because there's something attached to it. Because I have done that in the past. And what about this? I go, I didn't know that was there. So I'm letting you know. But thank you so much for all your support. And I know you're in good hands with Dr. Rubakalaba, the staff that's here at the district office to help support him. And then we have our wonderful, amazing teachers and classified staff and kids at the school site and the principals at the school site. It's just going to be amazing to see where it goes. It really is. But thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Do folks have any questions about the report, or should we proceed?
I don't have any questions, but it was a lot of fun to see all the awards and recognitions kind of all together. Yeah. They kind of come through. We see them in newsletters. We're at some of the events and they kind of come through, but to see them all in one place is really kind of neat. The other thing that kind of struck me, first of all, thank you, Dr. Baker, for your leadership for the year, for the cabinet team, for all that you've been doing at the district office, the whole district office team, our educators, staff, everybody that's contributing to this, our community partners. It's amazing. The slide on the supports and the interventions that were given through, our work with the community partners really shows that like this community school model and our multi-tiered systems of support are really having the kind of impact that we were hoping for as these things were been rolled out and expanded over the last couple of years. That's really neat to see. We've talked at nauseam about the data from the LCAP, although it's awesome to hear about the reclassification that's coming in there. So I don't think we have to talk about that. But the reclassification was the one I wanted to mention. That's just really neat to hear. So this is a nice way to end in sort of the school year with the report back on that. And I am looking forward to the next school year and seeing how we build on the successes of this year and the things that we've learned from this year and how we put those in place. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I'll just briefly say I loved this presentation. Like, thank you so much for putting it together. Obviously, the more important piece is all the work that went into making it possible, right? All the underlying supports that we've done. But as Mike said, there's just always so much work going on. It's like here's a great success, then you forget about it, and it's great to be able to just take a step back and realize how much impact that we've had that you and your staff have had on so many lives just this year, but obviously it's all the time. I think not to dwell on it, I think there are always in the community loud voices with little knowledge. And this is such a great way to kind of send out the message of we are doing so much, not only in terms of the academics, which everyone always wants it to be faster, but we are making progress that's very tangible and clear. Fantastic. On top of that, we're doing so much work on supporting the whole child model, right? We have so much work that's embedded in the community, and it's just really it's fantastic to see all of that to be able to let people know like we are making a difference. If we talk about tax dollars or whatever, like there is clearly a return that we're having, and we're having that consistently. And obviously it doesn't happen on its own. It happens with all the attention and focus that you, Dr. Baker, put in, as well as the cabinet and all the other staff, everyone that makes this possible. So I just loved saying this, and I really appreciate, obviously, the presentation itself, but all the underlying work as well. So thank you.
Definitely, thank you. And I'm glad to see this, obviously, ending the year, as my colleagues have said. And then one thing that I do want to point out is obviously the excellent work that everybody does, from classroom teachers to the classified employees helping there, definitely cabinet and everyone that works here in the district office. I wanted to just point out and say that sometimes communication is not really just verbal, and it's visible. And I want to say kudos to Jorge Quintana and Michelle Redmond, because I know that they do put presentations. Really, they just know how to do things. And so a lot of the times people may just not understand, but if they see something, it's very, it's just out there. So I just want to say, kudos to them, because it was really presentation well put together. So thanks again for all the work that all of you guys do. So.
I feel like our role in governance, right, is to make sure that the district is being well run. And we have made great forward progress in seeing the individual school presentations get this sort of common format so that we can reason about how schools are doing relative to each other. And then now to get a chance to sort of aggregate it all and say, like, what does the whole picture say? I think what I get from it is like we've kind of got our mojo back, like post-pandemic, which is great, because we were on this nice improvement course. COVID obviously set all of us back, and now we're seeing the positive slope again on the learning trajectory, and like that's just it's really great to see. So thank you. Cool. All right. So with that, I think we're on to our consent agenda where we approve a variety of unobjectionable items. As a reminder, just because something is on our consent agenda does not mean it's unimportant. It just means that we may have already reviewed it or it's unobjectionable and we'd like to focus our limited time together on substantive matters. Any board member at the change of agenda segment of a meeting can request that the item be pulled from consent to discuss. With that, does anyone want to move to approve the consent items?
I move we approve the consent items.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, consent agenda passes. All right, we have a number of action items on the docket here. First up is our LCAP for 26-27.
Yeah, so tonight we are bringing the LCAP for your approval tonight. There has been no changes from last week. Even though we have the current data we didn't update that because we just got it today. So, but you have at least have to say, but when we do our report with the dashboard in the fall, you'll be able to see all the data. So hope you guys can approve our LCAP today. So let's move forward with that for next year.
Fair enough. Questions, comments?
We had a pretty robust conversation last week. I know you weren't here, but the rest of us had a pretty robust conversation. I don't think I have anything to add beyond that.
Okie doke. Would someone like to move that?
With that, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, next up is the budget.
Good evening. As Anna said, with the budget as well, there was no material changes to what was presented last week, only minor revisions to the presentation that were shown at the meeting, but weren't in the board agenda packet last week. And as a reminder, we will be bringing a 45-day budget revision in August based on the settlements for at least 2 of our greening groups. And that'll be the next major update to the budget. And with that, I would staff recommends approval of the 26-27 Redwood City School District budget.
Makes sense.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor of approving the budget?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We're on to resolution 31. Rick?
So I will talk briefly about agenda items 17, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We are bringing all of these forward for the same reason, to welcome Dr. Christian Rubalcaba to the district and give him proper signing authority through the County Office of Education, as well as our bank accounts as an additional signee. So with that, I'm happy to answer any specific questions, but these are routine in nature with bringing on a new superintendent.
And the only change in these is change from former to future superintendent. None of the other signer
That
names
is
changed.
correct.
Okay, great.
It's the removal of Dr. Vapor.
Yeah.
And adding Dr. Rubalcaba.
Thank you.
It looks perfunctory, so I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries. And
we have to
should
do
we?
each one of them. You have to do each one individually. Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve dot 4.
Okay.
I will also second.
All those in favor? Aye. Let's keep this train running.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 33.
I will also second.
All those in favor? Aye. Here comes the caboose.
And I'll make a final motion to approve resolution number 34.
I will second that.
All those in favor? Aye. All right. Now we're on to something a little different. Resolution 35.
Thank you. I'm bringing to you tonight approval for the Ed Code options, which allows teachers who meet the university requirements for content area knowledge and background to be considered to teach a different course outside their credential based on master scheduling needs. This is the first. You'll receive another batch coming to you August 10th as well as we continue hiring over the summer. It's a customary process at this time of year.
All right. Any questions about this? All right. Would someone like to move that we approve the resolution?
I'll move that we adopt resolution 35.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Oh, Anna?
I'm just looking at Catherine's, she's gonna come up with this big federal addendum.
Uh-huh. Would you like to come to the podium and?
Okay, so the federal addendum is part of our LCAP, and it supports all of the work that we're doing in the LCAP. The federal addendum is comprised of 4 different federal budgets. We have Title 1, 2, 3, and 4. Title 1 is all supplementary dollars that are for supplementing above and beyond the educational plan that we have set forth for all students, with a focus on unduplicated students. Title II focuses on services for teachers, professional development for staff, for administrators, in order to improve educational outcomes for our students. And Title III is comprised of 2 different buckets. We have Title III, which is specifically for English learners, and a portion of Title III is dedicated to immigrant youth, so students really focusing on our newcomer students. And then the 4th bucket, Title IV, is all about supplementary services and educational experiences for our students. So there's a focus on a well-rounded education, mental health, STEAM and science, so enrichment supports, a little bit for technology supports. And so it's meant to be supplementary, but not as much academic focus as it is more of an enriching experience for our students. And so all of the funding is built into our LCAP and tied to specific goals within our LCAP. And so we use our federal dollars, which is almost $1 million at the district level within those 4 buckets, for supporting services for students across the district. Each site also, which is not part of the federal addendum, but sites also in our district, the majority of our sites, 9 of them, do receive federal dollars as well, Title I dollars. And that's based on their unduplicated students in their overall student count.
And this is proceeding mostly in line with prior years, despite all the various changes at the federal level?
Yes. We started this year a little rocky with everything was on hold. And all of our plans that we had made was kind of like, oh no, we're going to pause and please, sorry, school sites, you can't do these field trips, and sorry sites, we're not going to have this professional development, and these contracts were a bit iffy. I appreciated Rick's positive outlook the entire time, and it wasn't on pause for too long, and so we were able to resume with our plans.
Great. Other questions, comments? Okay. Would someone like to move that we approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Wonderful. Okay. And with that, we are on to board and superintendent reports.
I have nothing to report since last week.
Nothing.
I don't think I do either.
Is it? I went through the last decade plus of our warrant registers, and I have a new section of rcsd.info that aggregates every penny we've spent in the last 15 years or so. So you can search through it and see what money we've spent on what vendors. So it's there at rcsd.info, which is not an official district website. Okay. Information. We've got our cash sitting at the county earned 4.01% interest. I don't think there's much more to say about that. Correspondence. Yeah, I did get some notes from parents curious about when CASP scores would be released for their kids, because parents haven't yet received those notices.
Do you have any idea when they're going to receive the notices, Anna? We talked a little bit, the CASP notices, when parents would receive them.
They're coming out I mean, some of them are already in the parent portal. So some people have access already. It depends on, but because now we're at 99%, some more are being released and they're being the parent portal.
Great, cool. All right. Other correspondence? Nope. Okay. Other business. Anything else folks want to suggest? No. Okay. We're on to meeting reflection. Oop. No. That was the information on the 4.01%. Yeah. All right. Meeting reflection. That's today's meeting.
I thought it went well. Mine was a crap.
That's authentic. It was very sweet.
Was authentic. I
Yeah.
liked that. I like I like the very personal touch.
Don't
you
help
know? Yeah, I thought it went well. Thank you, Evelyn, for putting together the celebratory environment, getting the cupcakes and everything that you did to help us, give the honor and recognition to Dr. Baker that he's well deserved. But I appreciate your contribution to it.
Thought the 3-minute timer was tough but fair.
Brutal. Yes. Fair. Cool. Any other reflections? Okay. Evelyn, you do a champ job working that clock. I miss when you're not here. It's so great. Okay. Meeting calendar. We've got a board retreat on the 19th.
Yes, so in addition to that, on June 10th, the board approved Resolution 27 calling for an election for the election of 2 members of the governing board. Once documents were submitted today, we were notified that it's actually 3 members. We are in the process. Dr. Baker, Dr. Rubalcaba will meet with DWK to get clarification on that 3rd member. If it looks like we have to add that 3rd member, we will need to hold a special meeting and approve an amended resolution next week. And this needs to be done before the July 3rd deadline. So,
Oh my.
So there's a need for Christian to hold a meeting, hopefully on Wednesday, and you can do it. He only needs a quorum. Can do it, 3 with 3 of you.
I will be in Alabama.
Okay, so hopefully you 3 are available sometime.
this will be a quick 10-15 minute meeting just to approve the resolution.
And the reason why is about 3 o'clock this afternoon, Evelyn was at the elections office doing what we need to do with paperwork, and someone told her there are 3 board members. And I go, she comes back out, no, they're not 3 board members. The appointment was for a board member who was already completing her term and was not running again, and that's why the board needed to appoint. So we are going to meet with DWK tomorrow in regard to this, and we had met with William. I called him, and he followed up this afternoon at about 5:22. Says, to follow up on our call, I found some authority which is more ambiguous than I thought it would be. Might be worth a short call tomorrow if you have a few minutes. So Dr. Rubalcaba, Rick, and myself are meeting between 3 and 4, which is WK, just to get the clearer piece of this. It never was indicated to us that it would only be a 2-year term. We had said Ms. Lawson had decided that she wasn't running again, so the position was open. No one took out paperwork. So it came to that time, we needed another board member. So we went through the process of the board appointing, and we went through the criteria. We did all that work, and at no time did anyone say it would not be a 4-year term.
Curveball.
So we're trying to work on this tomorrow between 3 and 4. Evelyn, I was so surprised when she, can I come in? I go, yeah, come in, because I think the 3 of us, you were in the office, the 3 of us were in there. What? And so I called county council, but county council was in court, And so she said to call her tomorrow morning, so I'm going to call her tomorrow morning. We'll get two versions, or I should say two different thoughts, and see how we go.
So there may be a special meeting that will be
On
the first, on the first. So mark your calendars because it's going to be at quorum.
And I also want to know what time would work best. This doesn't have to be in the evening. This can be during the day. We just need to get it done. So whatever works for the three of you.
Yeah.
Like anything like noonish and later, because I could always do, if it's like a 10-minute, like that could be my lunch. Or otherwise,
It's going to be
at
quick.
5 o'clock.
It'll be quick. If we have to have it, it's going to be really quick.
It'll just be the approval resolution.
Earlier is better. Yeah. So that's total.
Noon.
Yeah. Start at noon. Perfect. So you've got that time for Wednesday, and we'll let you know after we have the phone call with both attorneys, because we're going to do both.
Because the deadline for our approval is when? Is it?
The third.
The third to submit our paperwork.
Okay. All right. Well, little fun summer scramble, but glad our board is up to it.
It's really interesting. We received the information from the County Office of Ed from the acting superintendent or interim Marco, and it only talks about two positions that they're acknowledging. So what? So
All right. Well, we'll get there. Catch and save. Okay. Any other further adjustments to the calendar, or is that
well, that's the only curveball now.
okay? One curveball at a time. All right. And then beyond that, we've got our board retreat, and then we start up our regular meetings again in August. This is August 10th. Okay. Sweet. With that, I think that takes us to the end of our meeting.
And with that, I would like to make a motion to say farewell to Dr. Baker and welcome Dr. Rubalcaba to the Redwood City School District. It's been wonderful, and we hope that it will continue. So very positive. Thank you.
Very nice. And I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect.